Hey guys, Henning and Morten from FlippedNormals here. In today's video, we are going to be talking about some of our coolest game assets you can find on the FlippedNormals marketplace. This ranges from characters, environments, vehicles, or anything else which can really help you level up your portfolio and also help you get your freelance gigs done faster or also help you in studio environments as well.
So let's take a look at these super cool assets.
Before we get into these amazing assets, we just have to remind you that everything on the FlippedNormals marketplace is currently 40% off, including everything we are presenting in this video. We're starting off with the MSWoodvine full rigs and 4 skins product. This is an absolutely brilliant real-time rig and character. You can use this for all sorts of different things. One of the first thing which came to mind for me when doing this is like if you need to make a game and you have to prototype a character and it has to be some kind of night character, you don't have to build this all from scratch. You can get this guy in here, well, this girl in here, and then you can start to really test out what it is. Or if you're an animator and you really want to make a cool game art portfolio, this would be absolutely brilliant because now you don't have to spend time chasing rigs or making your own rigs. You can focus purely on animation.
Yeah, oftentimes when animators present their work, you'll find that they tend to find their rigs from, well, they're just sort of like quickly made rigs that don't look that great. They might be very well done for animation, but they lack in the presentation. So that's definitely one of those things that can help you level up your animation game.
The next up we have the Sentinel. This is an awesome product as well, by the same creator, Etienne. And here we have some really awesome hard surface animations. This is, I mean, just a really cool product in general. What you can use it for could be for, again, if you're testing something out for you're doing a game demo where you have something interactive with it. You can, maybe you're a lighting artist, environmental artist, and you want to have like a really cool focal point. Or again, if you're an animator and you want to animate this as well from scratch.
Yeah, one of the things we want to get across in this video is that it's okay to rely on other people's work that they've created to sort of speed up your own workflows. You can't do everything. Not at once, and other people can do other things a lot better most of the time than what you specialize in. So rely on other people's skills for these kinds of assets that have been created to, again, help you speed up your work or get an edge on whatever field you're working in. Next we have the Antiques in the Attic Props combo pack from Dekogon Studios. Dekogon Studios make these amazing props. They have a huge library of ready-made props for games, and like with anything else, if you're building something, you're prototyping something, you don't necessarily want to have to build everything from scratch. That's where someone like the Dekogon Studios comes in because they've done the hard work for you. Let's say you're prototyping an old attic or some kind of horror game or something. You can buy this pack and just super quickly throw it in your game to see, does it work? Does it get the feeling across? If it does, okay, then you can think about upgrading and maybe doing your own more custom assets. But this is a great way to get started.
One thing I want to just quickly address, because I know there are a lot of people who think about this. Are you cheating if you are using pre-made assets? And it depends. If you want to be a modeler and you say that you did these from scratch, then yes, you're cheating. That's just deceptive. But it's like if imagine you're doing a film and you have to populate a film set. You're not cheating if you go to the antique store and you buy like an old bust of Napoleon and like an old sewing machine or something. That's just being clever about it. Then you can focus way more on the storytelling, the cinematography, and really the fundamentals instead of having to build these all up. If you had to build these all up from scratch, that would take you months and months of just pure labor when you can get these quickly, block them in, and really get something cool.
Yeah, and in that same vein, just another one from Dekogon, just a set of hospital assets. When this first came onto the store, I was really surprised at the amount of detail. When I think of a hospital, I was like, okay, maybe there's like a bed or some sheets or something, but this was everything from like pill cases to tools, machines, oxygen containers, cold storage for organs, a body bag. I mean, it has everything you can think of for, let's say you want to do a virtual ER show or something. You know, this would be the perfect asset pack for that. So again, if you just want to speed it up, this is what to go for.
or as a basis for a zombie game. Just throw on a blood filter and you are good to go. Then we have an Ancient Ruins, and this is a really cool pack. Really high quality assets which can be used to create, well, Ancient Ruins. You can really create all sorts of different designs, as this is very modular. You can create really anything you want to create based on these models.
And if you combine that, so this is made by Dmitriy, if you combine that with his stone asset pack as well, then you can really start to see, I guess, how the modularity of all these things can fit together. You get the ruins pack, you get the rock pack, and then all of a sudden you can build up very elaborate levels and designs without actually having to model anything yourself. Like, all of these rocks can be combined in a lot of different ways. They're not just like, okay, this one pillar can only appear this way. You put it on the sides, you do it diagonally, all of a sudden you have a alien-like looking landscape, right? So it's thinking about how to use these assets in a smart and efficient way.
As a note as well, all of the creators we're showing now, their stores have a lot more than what we're showing. We showed some, not necessarily the best ones, but some of the ones we thought were coolest personally, but they all have a lot more content. So if you're interested, for instance, in Dmitriy's white stones, he will have a lot more like environmental pieces as well.
Then we have Ryan Reyes' store. Now, Ryan Reyes, I guess at this point, is pretty well known for doing females for like the game ready female characters, and all of them are rigged, ready to be animated. They come in a variety of formats, and they're just overall super well done.
Yeah, I'm really liking these. They're really appealing and really well done characters.
And it's for anything you can really think of. So here's Tifa Lockhart, for example. He also has this demon girl for, you know, if you want a girl with swords. I'm sure that's why you would buy this one. It's for the swords. But again, like, super high quality. Check out the rest of Ryan's store, because he has a lot more. And I know he's constantly working to create more of these models as well. So definitely follow along and see what he creates.
Then we have the Unimodels stone walls. These are photogrammetry models, which means that they have been captured by the real world stones, which have been captured through 3D scanning. It means that the quality of them are really high, and you can't really create something of that complexity just from something like Substance Designer. It's incredibly hard to get real world quality without actually using real world photography as a basis.
And this is where what we showed you before from Dmitriy's model, you know, this would also be a perfect companion to that, because this is a different kind of rock. It's not as stylized, but they could still fit into the same, I guess, world. So combining these two, combining a lot of these assets can really help you speed up your work. Look at how fast this is all being put together, right? Like, just throw it into Unreal, have some particles being emitted, some quick lighting, and before you know it, you have a ready-made level.
I'm just really liking this modular way of working.
Yeah,
it just means you can prototype something so quickly.
Then from Unimodels again, we have garbage and debris. So, you know, scanned garbage is something that you really don't want to do by hand. I mean, it's not the most exciting thing. There can be cool things to do about it in terms of texturing and adding some details, but most of the time, this is the kind of stuff you want to just scatter and have everywhere in your level to add realism. Let's say you're doing some kind of The Last of Us inspired environment where everything is post-apocalyptic all of a sudden, right? Having a pack like this, high quality photoscanned assets, just allows you to quickly throw them into your scene and then start blocking everything out.
Particularly for assets like this, where they're really important to get the mood off the scene. But there is also not something you necessarily want to spend too much time on by yourself. This is where you, by getting a package like this, you will save yourself so much time. And it's not just time spent or time saved you're gaining, it's the iteration times. You can now get like 100 different versions out. You can test out your levels in a much more efficient way than if you have to make this yourself. Yeah,
it's important to start thinking about this more than... You got to think outside the box. It's not just, you're not just getting this one asset of garbage and debris. It's like, okay, these rocks, I'll use them for this one thing. No, you can combine them. You can combine them with other asset packs. Be creative about it. Create like a little scene like they're doing here, and really start playing around with these assets.
This is phenomenal if you're doing lighting studies. I mean, I know we're looking at literal garbage right now. We're spending a lot of time on that. But if you are an environmental artist and a lighting artist for games, a tech artist, something like that, you can. I don't see why you wouldn't get packs like this. If you try to make everything yourself, you're not going to be able to focus on the real craft that you enjoy doing.
Next up, we have just an insanely well done asset. It's the SUV 4x4 by AreJustPolygons. It's an amazing, well done asset that is just complete. You know, it's again what we talked about just before. If you want to prototype something for a game, or you want something like a finished car in your game, and you don't necessarily want to sit down, bother with doing all the rigging, doing all the math for figuring out how does a car drive over things, how does the physics have to behave, this does it all for you. It's ready to go. You just simply pull it into your scene and you can drive it around.
Yeah, again, it's like you're doing a movie. You're not building the car from scratch. You're buying a car and then you're driving said car in the movie.
That would actually be crazy. For every car on set, you would have to build it yourself first.
It's like Mad Max.
Just think about it like that. You know, anything in the real world, if you're doing something for film as well, you don't want to do everything by hand. You go out, you buy stuff. Obviously, some things have to be custom made. Costumes are often one of those things. Cars, not so much. Cars usually, maybe for something like Mad Max or something. You know, you deck out a pre-made car, but that's adding details to it. And you can do the same here. You can use this as a base and then build upon it.
The smarter you are with your assets, the better the end product will be, because you can really focus on the fundamentals. And the fundamentals of games is not how high poly is your assets, it's the gameplay.
Then we have a nature pack by Tidal Flask. Now, Tidal Flask, I think, makes the cutest assets on any marketplace out there. They have really nailed this. It's not like, I wouldn't call it mobile game art, but it's kind of like mobile game stylized art. I love the style. It's perfect for concepting out your game, or even as final assets for your game. The thing about these assets is that, you know, they come with a certain style, a particular style. So obviously they have to fit in with what you do. But again, you can always modify all of these to your heart's content. And if you're making like a Ocean Horn Zelda inspired game, for example, this would be a great place to start. You just pull in the assets and you're ready to go basically from the beginning.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things you have to keep in mind. If you're doing something like a game or any product, you have to make sure that the product works. And if you spend 6 months to a year building all the assets, when you can get something for, you know, like a fraction of the cost, then you can focus really on, does the gameplay work? Is it fun? And then you can optimize that instead of optimizing the polygons.
And if you want to build a Farmville game,
you should.
Henning would buy it.
I will buy your farm game.
The village pack is perfect for that as well. So combine the village pack with the nature pack, and you've got a great looking game already on hand.
Then we have an Unreal Engine 4 Battle Tank Military Pack. This is a phenomenal product, which includes obviously a battle tank and also a lot of the ammunition and everything you might need for this. It's just a really, really high quality assets which you can drag and drop into Unreal Engine and it will work.
I feel like we can keep saying the same things about all these assets. You know, don't want to make everything from scratch. Pull this thing in. So again, we're doing this video to highlight some of the products that we think will help you speed up your workflow the most, and some of the ones that we think are of the highest quality. So this one, definitely check out if you're into reenacting war in games.
Future wars.
Future wars.
With future battle tanks. This is a really cool product. This is an Archivist interior. And when I just looked at the pure images here, it looked kind of like a general Unreal Engine, just an Archivist picture, like an Archivist render out of Unreal, which didn't look that impressive. But then I saw this video and I was kind of blown away by when you're actually walking around here and you can change like the carpet, you can change the couches, you can change all sorts of different things in it. Now, this is where I was thinking about this would be that if you're an architect, then you can build up your entire apartment or whatever you're selling in Unreal, and you can have your client walk around in VR and really experience it. You can change stuff on the fly, and it's like you're actually there. Now, I'm not sure how modular this is, but if I was an archivist firm, I would have got this and used that as a basis for all the future archivist projects I'm doing, because this here is really a unique way of experiencing like a livable space.
Then we have a crate. So that doesn't necessarily sound that exciting, but Defect makes the best CG crates on the market. Again, not really selling it, but it's a crate.
Trust us.
Once I saw the trailer for this, I saw the product come in, I was like, okay, that's a crate. But the presentation on these crates, the details on these crates, it's just, if you need any kind of crate, this is the crate you should get.
There are crates, and then there are crates.
Yeah, then there are Defect crates. It's not just this crate, the military supply crate. There's a bunch of other crates on their store. So any kind of virtual storage you need for weapons, again, decking out your scene, check out these crates.
If you're making evil loot boxes to get kids addicted to video games, I would definitely get these kind of crates.
These are the crates for you.
These are the crates for you. Then we have an old books set. This is from a creator who has all sorts of these really antique and classical, vintage kind of 3D models and assets. This is just one of them, which we really enjoyed. These really nice old style books.
Yeah, it's rare, I feel like, that you find antique props like this of this quality. A lot of times you'll have props that are worn or props that look old. They're in the post-apocalyptic world, but these are well-preserved antique props in a really well-done style. I think they're very appealing, and Tatiana has a bunch more assets on her store, so be sure to go check those out.
Then we have the Apache Longbow helicopter. This is a really cool asset for, a low-poly helicopter.
It doesn't even look low-poly. That's how well done it is. Combine that with the military pack we showed you before from 3D Smart. This would be the perfect companion to that. Put on a few Hellfire missiles and I guess you're good to go. Also, again, from Woodvine here, we've got some trash. This is... It's so hard to present actual trash to people. I mean, these are not trash assets. Well, I guess technically they're trash assets, but they're not trash. They're great.
They're 10 out of 10 trash.
10 out of 10 trash, yeah. No, they're great. It's for all your trash needs. It's kind of in the same vein as Dekogon. When I first saw it, I was like, okay, trash, great. It'll be some photo scanned bags or something, but it includes a lot more than that. This is sort of what I think about if I were to think about, okay, scattering trash in New York or something. Just have a bunch of these lying around, fill them up in containers, and a pretty trashy looking scene.
Yeah, I like this. This is good trash. And then we have the modular sci-fi hangers. This is, exactly what you would expect. It's modular sci-fi hangers.
Yeah, being able to preview these is, again, it's the same thing with the architecture stuff. They look great on the images, but once you actually see them demoed, being able to walk around in them, you kind of get the scale, sort of get a good sense of scale and sort of figure out the detail level of all of these. They would be great for any kind of Halo-inspired game, again, because they're modular. You can quickly throw them in, play around with them, tweak them a little bit, and see how they, fit your needs for creating a really cool sci-fi looking level.
Yeah, it's really cool because you can block in a level so quickly and actually have something which looks good instead of having to wait 3-4 months for the asset department to create all this for you.
So with all that said, I think that just about wraps it up. Make sure to remember that everything is currently 40% off on the FlippedNormals marketplace. So if any of these have piqued your interest or you're interested in getting more learning material, leveling up your skills, be sure to head over there and see if you can't find something that suits your needs.